Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back to Something to Talk About, episode 21.
21.
It's a big one.
It is a big one.
We're
legal.
Yes. Big milestone in the life of our show. This is Abigail.
This is Jorie.
Most people call her Abbi this. You can call her Abbi.
You can call me whatever you would like. Well, we are with Southern Living. We are sharing the good news stories with y'all every week, every Thursday at 3. So we're appreciating you guys tuning in.
Yes, we love rounding up the best stories coming out of the South and sharing them with you guys. So.
Yes. And this week is a week of love.
It is. So much love going around.
Lots of love. Some different kinds of love.
Yeah.
You guys are going to love it. No pun intended. So our first story for you today is about Mr. Rogers' wife. So there's a new documentary in theaters. If you haven't seen it, we haven't seen it.
No, I want to see it.
Comment and let us know how it is.
Yeah.
Called Won't You Be My Neighbor?
I've heard people love it, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently it's like a complete tearjerker. And you need to bring Kleenex to the theater. So for more than 3 decades, Fred Rogers welcomed us into his home, his community, with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on television. But like home community version. So everything's just like very calm and you just feel relaxed afterward. He's just saying all great things. So Mr. Rogers, you need to watch that.
I will watch it.
Was on our TV for a long time, but maybe the woman who knew him best was his wife of 50 years. So she was a pianist. Her name is Jorie and Rogers. And she recently went on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon in coordination with this new documentary that came out to talk about their love story and specifically the special significance of the number 143, which you wouldn't know this because you haven't seen it. That wasn't shade. I'm sorry.
It was absolutely shade.
But he mentions that number. And so, you know, we just kind of thought, okay, whatever. But Joanne let us know that there's actually something a little bit more behind that. So some background on the couple. They met in Winter Park, Florida, at Rollins College, and Joanne said that she had never met a guy like Fred before. He was different. In his young days, he was lively and full of fun, but he talked about his feelings, and I could talk about my feelings to him and the things that bothered us and the things that we loved. And she went on to talk about how this built a friendship, and at the end of the day, when you're married for 50 years, you really need that friendship to fall back on.
Yeah.
So it's just absolutely beautiful. But she explained this fixation that Mr. Rogers had on the number 143. So it actually stands for I love you. So 1 being the letter I, 4 being the letter L, the word love, because it is 4 letters, and then you being the number 3, which has 3 letters, or y'all know what I mean. I love you, 143. And so he actually took this to kind of like a crazy level, in my opinion. But he maintained a weight of 143 pounds through his entire life because of this I love you with his wife.
Which we think is super unreasonable and unlikely.
I mean, I'm so impressed. And honestly, like, just who Mr. Rogers is, but how hard would that be? Maintaining that weight.
We've heard that he was an avid swimmer, and that helps him stay at a solid 143 pounds. But like, the number really has to mean a lot to you to like maintain that weight.
I think that is so crazy. Anyway, it's just wild. Like this beautiful sentiment, and it makes me want to watch the movie even more, just seeing how like in love that they are.
Yeah, I need to check out the show and the documentary. So.
Yeah.
But if you have seen it, please comment. We'd love to hear what you think.
Yes. What's up next, Jorie?
Oh my gosh, this next story, it's really baffled everyone. Is it reasonable to be fashionably late? Quote.
I don't know. Is
like
it?
I'm the queen of fashionably late.
Fashionably
late. I'm the queen of that. I love it. 10 to 15 minutes. I feel like if you show up on time, people are like, oh, you were really excited for this event. I have nothing else to do. But according to a not fashion expert. Y'all, I'm struggling today.
An etiquette expert.
In Texas. Yeah, in Texas. Who we go to a lot for a lot of our etiquette questions. Diane Gottsman. She is at the Protocol School of Texas. She says that it is not good to be fashionably late. And she kind of broke it down for us for different events. What events you have to show up a little bit early for, a little bit on time, and maybe where you can slide by 5 to 10 minutes late. So things like weddings, funerals, baptisms, you have to show up early because you can't be walking in as a ceremony is starting. That's super embarrassing, and you'll just mess up the whole thing. Yeah.
If you show up at the same time as the bride is walking down the
Not
aisle,
cool.
just stay in your car.
Not
leave,
cool. And also
reception.
theater performances, which kind of like common sense. It's the work, because sometimes I've actually gotten locked out of a performance before, show up on time. I had to watch the first act from the lobby, which is so upsetting. It was the Royal Ballet. I was really upset. Yeah, so don't do that. And for like baby showers and baby showers and fundraisers, yeah, show up on time as well. She says there is a 5 to 10 minute grace period, but she thinks we should change the term to fashionably on time.
Yes.
Which I like. So,
and especially if you're looking for a job. Good gracious,
yes.
do not show up on time and do not show up late. You better be there sitting in the lobby 15 minutes early.
My dad always says if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late. He coached all my sports teams. It was kind of about practice, but still, something to live by, everyone.
I think it's so interesting that she brings up like that we're almost conditioned to think that showing up on time, especially to a party, especially younger ages, is like, well, I don't want to show up like right at 7.
Yeah.
I want to be a little later. And, no matter who you are, it's especially if a host is expecting you, it's always rude to keep the other guests and the host waiting just for you to make your grand ballroom entrance.
Right.
So
definitely.
Early is fashionably early.
Yeah. Something else she mentions that you probably don't think about as often is showing up too early, which can be just as offensive.
Yes.
That's for me when I'm hosting something and someone shows up 10, 15 minutes early, I'm like, oh God, I'm not ready for you.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
don't
point.
have everything out. I don't have everything clean. So
especially for dinner.
Yeah. So on time, people, on time.
Yeah. Your host needs those last minutes to perfect those details.
For sure.
Oh, goodness. Well, moving over to Mississippi, there was a Mississippi couple who ended up hosting a stranger's wedding in their house after their beach ceremony that was planned got rained out, which I think is, just a great example of Southern hospitality, but also so cool.
It is really neat. It's a great story to tell the kids one day.
Oh, yeah. So Dolce and Ariel Gonzalez, their wedding was supposed to be on June 30th, and they woke up and the forecast called for 15% rain, which is not that bad.
Not much. In the South, that's kind of normal.
Yeah, in Florida, heck, it's like 80% chance every day, and you get like a 5-minute shower.
Right.
But just before they were about to start, it started torrentially raining and there was lightning and it forced the entire wedding party into their cars. So they were all like, what do we do? Yeah. Because we were planning this outdoor beach ceremony. And the bride, oh my gosh, the poor bride, Dolce, she was in the car with her mom and dad. And she said she was about to have a panic attack and being like, oh my goodness, what the heck do we do? We were trying to get married today. Yeah. But across the street, a couple, Shannon and Cynthia Strunk, were watching this all happen. They clearly knew that this wedding was being rained out because they live across from the beach. And they decided to help. And I just think that's so nice. So cool. Cynthia came up to the window, knocked on the window, and she said, y'all are more than welcome to have your wedding in our house. I will have everything ready in 10 minutes. And if that is not the most like Southern woman thing to say, give me 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
And I will pull a wedding off. It's so good. So she very quickly prepared her home, set up 50 chairs in her living room. They had a beautiful house too. Like the pictures of this are gorgeous. And y'all will be able to see all of those if you click the links below. After our broadcast, we'll post all the articles for you so you can go back and read them. But you'll be able to see the picture of Cynthia's house because it's beautiful. So she set up 50 chairs, and Jorie and I were discussing, we think the chairs may have come from the wedding that was planned across the street, but otherwise,
who has 50 chairs lying around their house?
Cynthia have them in her house. We don't know.
Just for when beach weddings get rained out. Come on in, y'all.
Maybe this has happened before.
Maybe. That'd be amazing.
She even gave the bride a private room to get ready, and everyone kind of regrouped, and everything went on without a hitch. Went off without a hitch.
And they say that rain on your wedding day is good luck. So
is it?
Yeah, that's what they say.
I mean, it's only uphill from there.
It's like rain. Sorry.
I think the best part of the story is that the bride, so obviously was about to have a panic attack, now is getting her wedding moved indoors to a gorgeous house. She gave this quote to Yahoo, said, "It honestly looked like we had planned it there. God definitely wanted us to get married."
Yeah.
I thought that was so cute.
It was meant to be, in the stars, if you will.
And the couple who hosted them was just like, it was our pleasure. They, they didn't even think about, and it wasn't something big. It was just helping out some people on the beach who needed help.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Way to go, Mississippi.
We love Southerners.
What's up next, Jorie?
Next up, we have one of our favorite honorary Southern couples. They're not
Yes.
actually Southern, they're Australian, but Keith, of course, is a country music singer.
Nashville, baby.
Yeah, Nashville based, and we love them. So they just recently had their 12-year marriage anniversary, and Nicole kind of shared some tips on what keeps them going so strong. And a lot of that, she says, is the friendship that they built and that kind of they base their relationship on. So I think that's pretty neat.
12 years is a long time for a celebrity couple.
Yeah, celebrity couples, that's like 50 years in their book. So cool. She says, this is really cool. She talks about the us a lot, and what that means is like their relationship with what the two of them create together. And she says, I think it's knowing that you have to keep contributing to what we call the us. So you have to keep giving to the relationship and kind of redefining it and asking each other what the other one needs. Which I think is so beautiful. Yeah, she just recently posted on her Instagram some footage of their wedding ceremony that had never been released. So they're just so happy and in love. It's so cute.
If you see them, like on any red carpet, he is always so supportive of her. And like when he wins things, she's just like the first one to get excited.
And she often goes on tour with him. She talks about, she says, we call it, we go on tour regularly. We call it the road trip. We sleep in bunk beds. We get to see and fall in love with different parts of America. So it's like they really just make the most of what they have. And definitely still one of our favorite power couples.
Oh, for sure. Keith also posted a picture on their anniversary, and he said 12 years of celestial synergized soul dancing.
Amazing.
Which I feel like it's just like written in the stars for them.
It is. They're so cute.
And they have a gorgeous family too.
They do.
They've got some girls. Yeah. So that's a good one.
Keep going strong, you two.
Yeah. Love it. What's your favorite Keith Urban song? I would be curious to know that. Because I'm a huge country fan.
Yeah.
I just want to know.
I like Days Go By.
That's a good one.
It's an oldie, but a goodie.
I like Somebody Like You.
It's good one too.
It's so good.
I saw Keith Urban when I was young in concert. He's amazing.
I know. Man. Adopt me.
Hit us up.
All right. This story, I know that you'll be so happy that I'm finally talking about it because I have been obsessed with this story.
She talks about this story every day. So
there is a 2-story penthouse for sale right now in Charleston for $16.5 million. Okay, so that price tag is crazy just off the bat. A penthouse, 2 stories. 2 stories. We're not even talking like a grand historic estate here. 2-story penthouse, $16.5 million. So I only need like $16,499. I have like $100.
It's a start. You gotta start somewhere, Abby.
So this penthouse is in Charleston's People's Building, which was the first skyscraper in Charleston.
Pretty cool fact.
Yeah, it's at 18 Broad Street. And let me just give you a few tidbits of info on this apartment. It is 8,300 square feet. So if you think, we've written a lot about houses at Southern Living, and we've kind of determined that folks really like the 1,500 to 2,500 square foot house. So that would be like a modest family suburban home. 8,300 feet. So that is more than triple the size of that average house.
What do you do with all that room? Like
you
do a million people
a Gatsby party every weekend.
A bomb party.
It's crazy. So it's in the heart of the French Quarter. It has 360-degree views of the Charleston Harbor and the Atlantic Ocean and the historic district. And it has these just crazy lavish details, as you would expect. It has Turkish limestone floors, soaring ceilings, fireplaces, a gourmet chef's kitchen, which is the photo I picked here because it has 2 marble islands and exposed brick.
Because one island isn't enough.
Crazy. And I just think it's so pretty. Also, kitchens are my favorite part of the house, so that's why I picked it. It has a private elevator bank entrance, a 3,100 square foot private rooftop terrace, which might have been your favorite part.
Yeah.
But just all these crazy perks to this house. You have 1,500 square foot master suite, a mirrored powder room. You look out every window and you see either the water or a gorgeous historic church or downtown Charleston. I'm overwhelmed and I don't even live here.
I think she's been dreaming about this.
I kind of have.
We should visit. I bet they would give us a tour.
They probably would. Even the elevators have been hand painted to look like these huge front doors. And y'all will have to look at the pictures on this article because it's absolutely insane.
It's dope.
So it could be yours for a mere $16.5 million.
If you're in the market,
You
hey,
could go splitsies.
if you hear about this on our show and buy this apartment, you better be inviting us to your housewarming. That's all
We
I'm
want
saying.
a dinner party.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So cool. Next up is completely unrelated. There's literally nothing in common. But it's about our favorite fur friends, puppy dogs. Abby and I are partial to dogs. We both have a dog.
Very partial.
Yeah. And this is a story about actually a French bulldog and his family who actually travel really often. They have a house in Massachusetts and what's the other one?
Florida.
So they travel back and forth a lot, and he's 3 years old. And so he's flown a good bit. But the owner, Stephen and Michelle Burt, and they've had pets for 12 years. So like I said, they're very used to flying. So this is a French bulldog, Darcy.
She's so cute.
She is so cute. And they were on a JetBlue flight, and they started to realize that her tongue was getting blue and she was panting and kind of freaking out a little bit. So the owners knew that immediately something was very wrong because she had never done this before. And it turned out she was suffering from hypoxia, which is a lack of oxygen to your body. So actually the crew at JetBlue just immediately stood up and got her the oxygen mask, and within a couple of minutes she had calmed down and was okay. But I just think it's so cool that they treated her just like a human, like completely stepped up to the plate and
a positive flight experience. I feel like you hear so many negative things now.
That's
this
true.
Crew really did a great thing.
They're coming out strong. Yeah. They brought ice bags to her, and so she continued to pant heavily for a few minutes, and then after a couple of minutes with the oxygen tank, she kind of started fumbling with it and wanted it off, which means that she was starting to feel better. So, yeah, she's made a complete recovery. So it's great news.
And something important to remember when you're like traveling with your dogs like that. I actually read something. I thought it was so interesting. I was telling Jorie earlier about how dogs that have like the short noses have a harder time getting oxygen, especially in the air because there's less. They have a harder time breathing. Yeah. So longer nosed dogs may not, may have a little more air, but especially these little bulldogs and pugs. You gotta look out for them.
I would freak out if this happened to my dog on a flight.
Yes.
But he's a lab, so he has a big nose. He's fine.
He's sucking up a lot of air.
He is, He's taking everybody else's air on the plane. But yeah, so she's fine. And Michelle just kind of said that this is a good reminder that people are doing good things on a daily basis, even if it is in small ways or big ways. So it's really sweet. I'm glad Darcy's okay.
Way to go, JetBlue.
Yeah,
we
rock
appreciate
JetBlue.
Y'all. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us this week.
That's all we have for you.
It is. If you want to hear more great Southern stories, you can follow myself on platforms at Abby Wilt.
And I'm at Jorie Nicole. We're posting behind the scenes stuff all the time. I just did a little while ago, so if you want to check that out.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on Something to Talk About. And we'll be back next week.
3 p.m.
on Thursday.
Bye,
guys.
Bye, guys. Oh, we ended pretty quickly. That was good.